Welcome, Doctor. How are you?
I'm great. How are you, Jesse?
I am so grateful that we've got you in the studio today for your Best Self podcast.
It's been a long time coming.
It has been a long time coming, and I'm so grateful that you're finally here. Anyway, nobody wants to hear from me. You're the doctor. We're going to put you on the stand for the next half an hour, and welcome everybody for tuning in. Again, my name is Jesse, but I'm just a producer. I'm just here just for background fodder. People want to know all about your knowledge because you do have an incredible practice, and we're going to learn all about it today.
Thank you for listening. I want to thank Jesse. We have been talking and dreaming about this for about a year, and I'm grateful to Jesse for setting up this great studio, being persistent, and really believing in us as people, as a part of the community and our brand. So thank you, Jesse.
My pleasure.
Today's really a welcome and an intro. I want to talk about who we are, what we believe in, and why we do what we do and what we do. So I was just going to go into a little bit. Everything starts with a good story, and our story, I think, is special and really set the foundation for our brand. For those of you who don't know us, I'm Dr. Rebecca Novo, board-certified plastic surgeon. My partner is Dr. Anita Saluja, board-certified dermatologist, focusing on aesthetic derm and skin health. We are from the same small town on the border of Canada, the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, a town about 12,000 people. Both of our families are very well enmeshed in the community. We went to one public school, and there's a small university, pretty much hockey, bars, and snow where we're from. So I actually didn't know Dr. Saluja growing up, but I went to school with her younger brother, VJ, who went to high school with me.
That's fascinating.
He's also a physician. So when he found out that I was going to end up in Florida with plastic surgery, he really connected us. So we were pretty much talking about our vision and our plan for, we're coming up on celebrating our 3-year anniversary of our practice being open.
Already.
So we started probably dreaming and planning about 6 years ago. When I first moved to Miami, I would come up and visit my husband, who's an anesthesiologist here, Rob Novo. And I would spend weekends and just kind of pop in and brainstorm with Dr. Saluja about kind of what we wanted to build. And we just developed a relationship that way and figured out we had a similar vision. So we thought it was pretty unique to combine the synergy of dermatology and plastic surgery.
Of course. Yeah, that's amazing.
Very few people are doing it. It is kind of catching on, but definitely on a local level, few people are doing it. And we've just developed a great working relationship. And if you do know her, you know she's brilliant. I mean, I kind of call her Doogie Howser. She went to med school straight out of high school at 15.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Her and her brother. So good genes there.
No kidding. No kidding.
So she's brilliant. Went to med school at University of Michigan, then straight to Emory for medical school. I took the slow, hard, route with 5 years of general surgery, and then I did 3 years of plastic surgery at University of Miami, which brought me closer to Brevard. So my plan was to end up here to be with my husband. And we really started this practice thinking it would be a small boutique practice, and it's really grown. Every year we've grown substantially, which is really exciting. Kind of trying to be on the forefront of technology and techniques, and we love all that. We love educating, and so that's kind of who we are and a little bit about what we do. Our practice really does focus on skin health, aesthetic dermatology. Dr. Saluja is the #1 injector in Central Florida
as far
right? as volume and skill. From my perspective, I offer a lot of skin cancer surgery as well as cosmetic, face, neck, breast, body, kind of head to toe plastic surgery.
Wow. And I'm learning things. I don't know about you folks.
This is exciting.
Yeah. So I thought you were just really just from like the clavicle up, but you're really
head
do
to
a little
toe.
bit head to toe surgery.
Yeah,
Wow.
That's what really drew me to plastic surgery in general. It was not a box that I could be put in and you can operate on this organ or this part of the body.
Yeah, and I would see how that could be rewarding. If you are working for like a burn victim, only knowing one particular part or one particular solution doesn't really help the overall benefit to your patient.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
so that's pretty cool.
So synergy is part of our brand, working together. We share patients. We share very well, which I think is unique in medicine, especially aesthetic medicine. Um, our brand foundation is we want long-lasting relationships with patients, and we're very results-driven. So whatever that takes within the foundation of our practice, whatever we can offer. We have 2 phenomenal estheticians that take care of skin and really offer results-based procedures, microneedling, radiofrequency microneedling, chemical peels, hydrofacial, different things. And I always say I can do surgery, but the longevity and the health is only going to be best if the skin is healthy and looks good. So that's why it all works together.
Yeah, I would say that if most people think plastic surgery is a luxury.
Definitely.
But there are a lot of benefits, even just to injections.
Right.
I mean, there's like reduce migraines and all. Please educate us.
Yeah, most neurologists will do migraine therapeutic Botox, but people do find decrease in headaches. And I mean, there's a lot of people that will say, there's research, if your self-esteem is good or strong, you're going to contribute, you're going to feel better about yourself and contribute more to those around you in the community. And I think there is something to be said about how we feel about ourselves, gives us confidence, project out into the world on a different level. So, we need to listen to our patients. We hear their concerns and objectives, and we create a teamwork with them.
And that's what it looks like. You guys are very community-minded.
Yes.
You are involved in a lot of different campaigns, feel-good campaigns, rehabilitative campaigns. I see gift baskets from your office at almost every fundraising gala.
And you are almost at every event.
And I bid on every single time I see it. I end up getting outbid, but your packages, I mean, you guys are donating like $1,800 worth of service sometimes, and the opening bid's like $100. I'm like, well, that's kind of an insult. So of course, I bring it up always at least to 200, and but then by the end of the night, it's one of the most popular. Like we need like 2 pages for the silent auction for your basket.
Yeah. Dr. Saluja's been in practice in this community for 18 plus years, and she's young because she started so young, but her contribution and her reputation, I think, are unparalleled in the community for giving back. We rarely say no if it fits, as far as what we want to represent and support. So, women, kids, families, anything that's going to strengthen the community, we definitely try to give back.
And on another note, your office is very, very attractive, by the way.
Thank you.
And centrally located here in Brevard County. Really easy to get to, by the way, off of Wickham Road. And you're surrounded in a nice little medical community. You have a big assisted living facility right behind you in your backyard.
It's growing.
And when you say Synergy as part of your brand, you have kind of like your entrance. Dr. Saluja has her entrance, and I'm gathering that somewhere in that office, there is that synergy where you can pass off one of your plastic surgery clients and be like, here, let me introduce you to Dr. Saluja, and then they can like start the esthetician and dermatology.
Definitely.
And I just feel like that's like, if you just look at the space, it just has no choice but to share your common where you're dedicated at your dedicated services.
Right. So a touch on the design aspect. Dr. Saluja and I both picked and planned everything, and I think we had a lot of fun doing that.
I'm sure. Yeah.
I think if I wasn't in plastic surgery, I'd probably be in fashion or interior designing. I enjoy that part. So we do have kind of a modern, just clean aesthetic to all our spaces. And it is fun to kind of watch that evolve too, as we're now in our 2nd space and soon to be 3rd.
Wow.
So the physical separation of space is really only by necessity of we outgrew ourselves. So I think the synergy is really in communication and planning. We're constantly messaging about patients and, what do you think would be best for this patient, whether it's from our consultation with our patient educators or esthetician, whether I'm lasering one of our injectable patients or my surgery patients coming for injectables. So that's kind of the synergy we share, which I think is pretty unique in the aesthetic environment. But yes, so as far as I've been definitely pulled into rooms for a quick consult or, meeting patients and vice versa, just to build that relationship. And so, yeah, we're in the plans for our third space, which will be a little bit more physically connected. But
would you say as you grow, is the concept becoming more of like a med spa, or do you despise that word? What do you think of that word?
Good question.
Yeah.
Med spa. I think that it's a very enticing business.
Right.
And I was just having coffee with another plastic surgeon colleague, and it's a little bit puzzling for me because I think that the enticement is financial or ego, but if you really care, which we do, I think we care like too much sometimes, that there's a lot easier ways to make a living.
Right.
I think if you care, there's stress, there's emotion. We really just want to deliver results. We want the patients to be happy. So I think med spa's fine. I think med spa's on our website, but I think you really need to be careful in the industry. Websites say whatever they want.
Sure.
People could over-credential themselves all the time. There's an injector that, whether it's a mistake or not, put MD after their name, but that means one thing, that's a medical doctor, not a nurse. So I think you really have to be careful as a consumer and, meet and trust and question and verify who that you're seeing. And even people that you see are like, what did you have injected? I don't know. People don't even know what they're having injected or where it's coming from. So I think these are all questions we should be asking. What is being injected into your face, or what is, what's in your body? So I think we love to educate. We love to, obviously we're here talking in our,
of course,
but we love to educate our patients and educate our teammates so they can help guide patients as well.
And how much of your practice is from like botched surgeries or those Botox parties where they're just injecting each other and that kind of thing? Can you elaborate on that?
Dr. Saluja probably corrects more than I see her.
Okay.
She does 90+% injectables in her day.
Right.
So I know she dissolves filler, or aesthetics is a real slippery slope, right?
Sure.
There's looking good and then there's going too far.
Yes.
So we will tell patients no, like, oh, I want my lips bigger. And I've heard her say no. I will say no, or I want my lips to look like this. And it's your responsibility to tell patient when you're not comfortable, you can't meet their expectations, or that's not an aesthetic that you believe in.
Right.
I mean, they're your advertising too. Like, you don't want people walking around looking weird. And I think that's the number one question patients ask, or their hesitancy to have injectables. Like, I don't want to look weird. And I have the best comeback ever. Have you ever seen, does any of our staff look weird? No, they all look beautiful and natural and healthy. Okay, well, they're all getting injectables.
Right.
They all look great. I usually say the only person you'll see looking weird is someone that might be here for a correction or some dissolving. Not to say we're perfect or don't have, less than perfect outcomes, but she probably sees more of the correction and than I do, just based on her volume.
Yeah,
but it does happen.
It almost seemed like it could be something that is, I don't want to say like endemic or something dramatic like that, but it seems like with people not going to a dermatologist or plastic surgeon and someone either less credentialed or, even though you may have a family practice, you may be an MD all the well, but when you start to go into a discipline that you're not trained in properly, then you could be a disservice to your clients.
Yeah. And I think that anyone can become great with training and practice, but is that there?
Right.
Is the question. Do you have good results and good outcomes and the appropriate training? It's not a weekend course. It's not a dinner where you learn to inject Botox. That's not who you should be seeing. But yeah, I think that's a great question. And I think there is a lot more pressure now with social media and filters
Absolutely.
and, you know, taking things to the extreme. So I think it's our responsibility to say,
And you know, and that's
put the brakes on it.
and that could be an entire episode
Yes.
In the future about the misrepresentation that we are allowing ourselves to do through filters and social
Right.
media. And then if that's your persona online, then
Right.
people meet
Right.
you in real life and they're like, wow, you have freckles. Like, I would have never known.
Yeah.
You know, oh, you have wrinkles. I would have never known. And those are all things that are great. It makes us individuals. And
Right.
to kind of blur, you know, with a filter,
Right.
it says something about our society. You know,
Right.
I mean, you know, I think people look for easy fixes. They look
Yes.
for the magic filter, that magic app, or
The
whatever.
reset.
Right. Yeah. And that can be kind of dangerous because skincare is long-term care.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I didn't even pay him to say that.
Well,
two
Right.
comments on that.
Yeah.
I think my favorite compliment is when, you know, you have your persona and photographs and marketing, and then when people come in and say, wow, you look better than your photo. Like, to me,
right.
that's such a big compliment. Thank you, because I had hair and makeup. I spent a lot on that.
Right.
This is me. So that, and then just that reliance. Our favorite thing to do is, you know, let's get you filter free. Let's work on your skin. Let's
Right.
work on your health. Let's get things so where you don't have to hide behind the pounds of makeup and the filters. Like, to us, that's the best result ever.
Yeah. And I'm
Free
glad.
the filter. Free from the filter.
Yeah. It could be a new hashtag.
Yeah. Filter free.
Filter free. Well, listen. Can you believe already 18 minutes has lapsed? So this calls for our first break. We're just going to take a quick refresher here, regroup, and we'll be right back. Thank you for staying tuned. Again, we're going to keep it really short for you guys, and we'll come back and we'll continue with what makes Dr. Novo or Dr. Saluja's practice so much more complementing and what differentiates themselves in the industry. All right, we'll be right back.
Hey, this is Trisha Schmalhofer, hostess of BAM, Badasses, Alchemists, and Mystics. This podcast is all about seeking knowledge, talking to experts, changing perspectives, channeling wisdom, and shifting consciousness. Listen as we invite a different badass guest each time from a variety of career fields who are living their purpose, spreading light, giving strength and hope, and changing lives every day. We stream live on Facebook, so like our page, interact with us, and watch the behind-the-scenes action. Find BAM, Badasses, Alchemists, and Mystics on Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Apple Podcasts under Space Coast Podcast Network. BAM!
You're listening to Space Coast Podcast, home of the greatest podcasts on the Space Coast. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor or having your own show, email us at spacecoastpodcast@hotmail.com.
Space Coast Podcast.
Talk hard!
All right, as promised, we are right back. Dr. Novo, you having fun yet?
Yep.
All right. Well, one of the questions some of our listeners have already asked as we promoted this episode was why a podcast? I mean, you don't see a whole lot of doctors taking advantage of this platform. Why is it right for what you and Dr. Saluja do?
There's a lot of layers to that answer.
I'm sure.
But I think that given our background, we both love to educate. And I think that podcast is we both listen to podcasts. And it's just such a great way to share information. You know, you can do it on your own time. You can do live, or if I'm running or, you know, folding laundry, whatever you might be doing, driving. It's kind of information on your own schedule.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that.
Yeah, it's like on-demand school.
Right.
Like you want to learn about a topic, just listen to a
Right.
podcast, and
Right.
you know you can binge a couple episodes, learn all about something, right?
And I was searching for podcasts by women plastic surgeons, and correct me if I'm wrong, I could not find one. Like
Me
a lot of
neither.
people were guests, or you
Right.
know, they're there but not actually taking it and running with it.
Mhm.
And I just, you know, I spend my whole day, or we both spend our whole day really educating and counseling. And I thought to have a resource where you could say, hey, learn more about this, or if people want to listen to it before a consult,
Mm-hmm.
it might answer a lot of their questions. There's just so many myths out there. And, you know, I spend a lot of time kind of breaking down those. So I think it would just be a great way to share information
Mhm.
for our patients and future patients. And, you know, there's definitely no dermatology and plastic surgery podcast. So I thought it would be cool to be the first.
Yeah, I think we
I'm
are
not
breaking some
selfish,
ground.
but
Not at all. Yeah,
the,
you have to pioneer. We need a pioneers, right?
and the secret reason is it's kind of a dream come true, because when I was little, I would pretend to host radio shows and I would record myself.
Now I'm just
So-
learning that. Wow, that's fantastic.
Probably no one knows that but my mom and dad and sister, but and those
That's
tapes
so
are
great.
lost, unfortunately.
No, they're not. They're somewhere, or you destroyed them.
So that's the very like selfish reason, like, oh, it's a dream come true. No, but I think that it's just a great way to share information, and I feel like we're both passionate about what we do, and it's really, there's just something intoxicating about when you're talking to someone who loves what they do, and I don't know, I think it's contagious, some of that excitement.
And you know what's also, and I told you this from the beginning. Like, who doesn't want free consultation?
Right.
Like, you're listening to a doctor right now.
Yeah.
A doctor who has performed many surgeries, who has helped women and men alike overcome insecurities because of, like, say, a scar or a blemish or that kind of thing, or even just toning down your complexion. You know, maybe say you get rosy cheeks all the time, you just kind of want to tone it down.
We
and
can do that.
Right. And so, and it's called it ends with a SIA. It's one of those easias, or what's the blotchy
Rosacea.
rosacea. That's the one, I think.
Yeah.
And
We can help you with that.
yeah, and so even though I could pull out some esthetician terms, even though I'm maybe kind of gray around that area, having worked in spas and had a career in that spa field, I know a little bit. I know enough
There
to
you
be
go.
dangerous with
You don't have to co-host.
with products. Yes, exactly, exactly. And so again, with the podcast, you're able to reach those listeners, and
Right.
maybe they are shopping for a plastic surgeon, someone that they could trust, who's ethical,
Right.
who's just going to tell them,
Yeah.
no, we're not going to go that big with your lips.
I was
No,
just
right.
having this conversation, like I mentioned, I had coffee earlier with a colleague, and it was learning to say no
Yeah.
is the hardest and best thing that you can teach yourself as a practitioner, because you're somewhat, you feel like you might be disappointing the patient, but at the end of the day, you're protecting them.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. No, there's power in no.
Yeah.
And
it's hard for all of us in general in life, and
But let me
No.
share. Let me share what I've known about using no more often. Not only do you gain more power in that relationship, because now, not to be like a parent, child relationship, but yeah, some people need like a guardian. Some
Boundaries,
people need
yeah.
exactly just a boundary. Some people just need to hear the word no, because they're going to be everywhere they go. They may be a powerful, athlete or celebrity or maybe just even an elected official. So they may not get no's. They're surrounded by yes men. So for you to say, no, we're not
This
going
is
to do
not a
that,
good
that
idea.
makes no sense.
yeah, it'll be in their head.
Right. And they'll almost appreciate you, respect you, and now you can guide them instead of them leading their healthcare. You can take charge and be like,
Right.
listen, I am the consultant. I am the authority in this matter. I know you probably handle a lot of whatever, maybe is a big attorney, big shot attorney, and they have egos or whatever the case may be, or even another doctor, and they think they know what's best.
Yeah.
And so there's power in that, because you, like you said, you're responsible for that outcome.
Right.
And the worst thing to do is let somebody push you over,
Right.
tell them exactly what they think they need.
Right.
Then they go out in public
That's
and, they are Joan Rivers lookalike.
Could be a whole episode.
Right.
The power of no.
The power of no. But what else about the podcast? Because I know we are taking video as well. So you're going to be found on YouTube. And why don't you tell some of the listeners where else they can find you?
Oh, we hope to share this on our website. So we'll embed every episode on our website. We love to share on social and Facebook. So you can find us there. Anywhere podcasts can be found, right? We're going to be searchable.
You are, yeah. Search for Space Coast Podcast Network, or even like Spotify allows you to search by the podcast name. So search for Your Best Self. 4 words, For Your Best Self. And your episodes will come up individually. So people can find you in a couple different ways. And some people will find you organically. They'll just put in plastic surgery Florida or something of that nature. And if it matches like a keyword, you'll come up and populate like that. So there's a lot of ways to find your show. And I'm sure there's going to be plenty of people wanting to know secrets from a doctor who practices plastic surgery and cosmetics and those kind of things. And before we get going, because again, we are only doing the half an hour format, just really quick, because like you said, you listen to while you drive, so for those that don't have more than a half an hour commute, they could digest what they can.
Just bite sizes.
Bite sizes, yeah, I like that. But we will be rebroadcasting to YouTube, so you'd see the video.
Perfect. Yeah.
And in which case, people can kind of see what's going on here in the studio, see some behind the scenes, and we will bring up your website or maybe some before and after pics in future episodes, so people who are curious about what that looks like will be able to find your YouTube channel, which will broadcast as well. So I think we would be remiss if we didn't tell them how to. Like, what's your handles on Instagram and Facebook?
Oh, definitely. So Instagram, which is one of our favorite places to be, we try. I mean, I feel like we have a very authentic, real presentation. All our followers are real, not bought, not purchased.
Yeah.
just putting it out there.
Right.
It's at Dr. Saluja _ Dr. Novo. That's DRSALUJA _ DRNOVO. And then on Facebook, we are /
Yes, Facebook.
Dr. Saluja.
/ yeah. And Dr. Saluja is DRSALUJA once again. And you guys have quite a bit of followers. I mean, an
I think
organic
we're
following.
almost 8,000. Yeah, I enjoy doing that, and so does Dr. Saluja. So what you see there is real. We try to have a mix of before and afters, what we're doing in the office, our staff. Our staff is amazing. They all are great educators as well, and they all have great personalities. So, and then also a little bit about what our lives are like or what we're doing in the community.
Yeah, you guys are pretty active. I love to see it. I love the before and after, effects that you guys offer. So within your practice, it is quite visual. So, if you are curious, if you're listening to this podcast, I'm like, man, I need to learn more. Your website, once again,
www.foryourbestself.com.
That's right. So foryourbestself.com. You go there. I know when I go there, you just fall in that rabbit hole that just kind of keeps on going. Like, there's so many services, so many cool things that they offer. If you do visit, if you're local here in Central Florida, come over to the Melbourne area, and right there on Wickham, just
North of Pineda,
yeah. And it's a beautiful office. It almost feels like a spa. It's like super relaxing, but it just kind of clinical, like, bright lights,
Right.
very clean. But you have some really nice products available. I mean, it really is like a one-stop shop.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, hey, listen, we're out of time. Thank you guys for tuning in. that concludes your very first episode. How'd that feel?
Awesome.
All right.
Let's do another one.
We're gonna go. We're gonna go, and we'll be right back with our number 2 episode next week. So make sure you tune in. Give the girls a follow. Give the girls a subscribe, and that way you don't miss another episode. Until next time.
Thank you.